My dear friends, and my dear masters, and my dear gods of India and the whole world, let us again look at the vast science of meditation, the great science of meditation. Who were the exponents of the science of meditation in the history of the earth? Lakhs and lakhs of masters. Jesus Christ was a great scientist of meditation. Gautama Buddha, Lord Krishna, Vedavyasa, Mahavira. We know only a few names. Names do not matter. Hundreds and thousands have been scientists of meditation. All spirituality is born out of meditation. All fundamental truths of the creation have been seen, witnessed, experienced in meditation by the yogis, by the yogeshwaras of meditation. Who is a yogi? This word yoga, which is current, has been limited to some body postures. Yoga does not mean anything, does not concern at all with body postures. Yoga is actually union. Yoga means union. Yoga is a Sanskrit word. Yoga is a Sanskrit word, and it means in Sanskrit yunjate iti yogaha. It means to unite. Any union between any two things is called as yoga. For example, music is nada yoga. The self unites with the purity of the sound. Nada means purity of sound. When you say karma yoga, it means being one with the action, any action. You are driving a vehicle, all your concentration is on the driving of the vehicle, you are one with the action of driving, that is union there. Jnana yoga means when you are one with, when you are reading a book, studying a book, when you are one with the contents thereof. Your mind is attuned to the contents thereof. Your mind and the contents have become one. That is Jnana Yoga. So, when you are with your own self, that is Dhyana Yoga, Raja Yoga, or simply meditation. The so-called yoga asanas, body postures, is called as Hatha Yoga, means becoming one with the body. Various body exercises or asanas. These mean a union at a body level, which is not yoga proper. Yoga proper is becoming one with our own selves. Becoming one with our body is different. Becoming one with our minds is different. Becoming one with our intellect is different. Becoming one with our own Atma, our own consciousness, our own self is entirely different. So, meditation means becoming united with one's own core self. So, these scientists of meditation like Jesus Christ or Lord Krishna, Buddha, Mahavir, hundreds and lakhs of them, no one superior to another, no one inferior to another. So, the science is the same. It's like driving a vehicle. The science of driving a vehicle is same. You have a clutch, you have gears, you have got brakes, you have got steering system. The science is the same. The drivers are many, expert drivers are many. The science of meditation is the same. And the science of music is the same. So, sa re ga ma pa da ni do re mi fa sol la ti, whatever it is, the science is the same. And scientists of music are many. Everyone or anyone who has dedicated himself for a lifetime practice of music becomes a scientist of music. Anybody who dedicates himself for a lifetime of driving a vehicle becomes a master driver. Similarly, meditation is like any other thing, any other science, any other talent. We have to log in a number of man-hours in meditation, then we become masters of meditation. We will understand the whole fabric, the science, the structure of human consciousness, human creation. Then you are a scientist of meditation. I am also a scientist of meditation. I have seen my own past lives through my own meditation in this lifetime. Gautama Buddha did not know who he was until the age of 29. Then he began his own search for truth. Like Gandhiji's my experiments with search for truth, then Buddha, he also started his own experiments. So, Gautama Buddha went to so many practitioners of meditation existing available in that time. He went to each and every person, tried to understand, tried to grasp, slowly progressed, and eliminated all the unwanted things, find out what was true by his own experience at the end of 5.5 years. As he was reaching his own 35th year, finally he achieved enlightenment. He understood by a process of trial and error, a process of experimentation and elimination, finally distilled, found out that you have to just be with your natural, normal, easy, soft breathing. You must not do any breathing exercises like Puraka, Kumbhaka, Rechaka, 1:4:2, no. 2:6:3, no. You know what is Puraka? It is inhalation. Kumbhaka means retention in the nose, and then finally Rechaka, exhalation. So he found out by his own experience that Kumbhaka should never be indulged in. Only the normal Puraka and the normal Rechaka. He also found out that one should not chant any mantra. He chanted hundreds and thousands of mantras given by this Guru and given by that Guru. Sincerely. He dedicated his whole life for experimentation. 24 hours experimentation. Finally he found out that the mouth has to be shut. Gautama Buddha discovered all these things by himself. At the end of that intense meditation, he activated his own third eye. He could see all his past lives, hundreds of past lives. We all know the story of Gautama Buddha. Right from our childhood, we have been seeing his name in our books, textbooks. We have seen him in temples, his idols adorn our homes, but we don't do anything about it in our own lives. That is the pity. So why can't we become Buddhas straight away? What he has eliminated, we should not attempt whatsoever. What he has accepted and expounded, that's what we should accept and practice. Only one thing, that is the breath. And in the breath too, no unnatural, artificial practices. Natural, normal, easy, soft breathing and witnessing the breathing. So, Gautama Buddha, just as Newton discovered the law of gravity, Gautama Buddha discovered Anapanasati. Just as Columbus discovered the land of America, crossing the huge ocean, Atlantic Ocean, Gautama Buddha crossed the huge land of ignorance and reached the land of enlightenment. Discovered the mighty land of enlightenment. Columbus, the mighty Columbus, the great Columbus, discovered the land of America, crossing the huge ocean of Atlantic Ocean. What a big ocean, Atlantic Ocean. Right from the Spanish coast, he traveled, reached the land of Americas. We will take another example, the mighty Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay climbed the highest of the Himalayan peaks, the Mount Everest. Similarly, Gautama Buddha climbed the highest peaks of enlightenment through the highest practice of meditation, became number one in the history of the earth. There are any number of persons after Hillary or Tenzing Norgay. So many hundreds and thousands of people have climbed the Everest. But the difficulties of Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay, because of the development of technology, now it is that much more easier to climb land of Everest. After Gautama Buddha, it has become very, very easy for all of us to sweep all the difficulties in front of us and climb the peaks of meditation and enlightenment. We have his footprints. My dear friends, we have the footprints of Jesus Christ. We have the footprints of Lord Krishna, of Veda Vyasa, of Lord Mahavira. So many footprints we have, still we are languishing in our own stupidities, creating our own problems and our own dukkhas and our own miseries and our own tragedies. All our miseries, our tragedies, our problems are self-created. Nothing is ever injected from the outside, created from the outside. Every reality is created from inside. All the humanity's problems, every individual's problems, collective problems, national problems, international problems, group problems, family problems, body problems, all are self-created. Only meditation solves all problems. All problems have arisen because of lack of the science of meditation, lack of understanding of the spiritual science, spiritual facts of existence. My dear friends, my dear masters, and my dear gods of India and the whole world, let us again recap the three great laws of the science of meditation. The first great law says, when you are with the breath, the mind becomes empty. Remember, we should never chant any mantra. No sound should issue forth from our mouths. The mouth should be shut. When you are singing some praise of some great God, some great Guru, some great Master of the past, well, that's a different thing. Many times we need to do that. We are emotional. We want to identify with my great Master. That's very nice. To sing praises of Lord Jesus Christ or Lord Buddha, Lord Krishna is very wonderful. It is soothing. But it is not the science of meditation. It is the science of soothing one's own self emotionally, which is entirely different thing. Like pineapple is different from mango. Mango is different, pineapple is different. Similarly, prayer is different and meditation is different. Meditation is not prayer and prayer is not meditation. Pineapple is not mango and mango is not pineapple. India is not America and America is not India. India is India and America is America. Prayer is prayer and meditation is meditation. Where is India? To go to America, you must leave India. You can't stay in India and go to America. Land your foot on America, it is not possible. You can't stay in America and visit India, not possible. You got to leave the shores of America to be in India. You have to leave the shores of prayer to enter the shores of meditation. People say, can we do the same? Both of the things at the same time. How can you do it? How can you put one foot in America and one foot in India? Is it not ridiculous? Either you are in America or you are in India. Yes, while you are in India, be in India. While you are in America, be in America. While you are doing prayer, understand that it's only prayer. It's only soothing of the emotional self. Nothing about enlightenment whatsoever. When you are in meditation, it is everything about enlightenment. It is not about soothing your emotional self. Meditation has got nothing to do with the emotions. Sorry, no emotions in meditation. And no enlightenment in prayer. It's like taking a hot water bath, a sauna bath. That is what is prayer. A nice emotional bath. We sing a prayer, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram Patita Pavana Sitaram. Yeah, that's a prayer. We remember Ram and Sita. Very nice. You are born in a culture. To remember the name of Ram, to listen to the sound of Ram is highly soothing. In fact, for Hindus, no other word is as soothing as the Ram. But by chanting the name of Ram, you will not get enlightenment. What we need is enlightenment. Ram was enlightened and you are not enlightened. What is the point? Whatever Rama has done in his lifetime, you have to do if you are sincerely his follower. If you are sincerely his admirer, you have admired his deeds. If you don't do the same type of deeds, what kind of an admirer are you? You are a fan. You don't play cricket, you are a fan of Gavaskar. But you have to be a cricketer here. That's what is meditation about. That's what is enlightenment about. How many lifetimes will we watch simply others' greatness, others' enlightenment, sing songs and praises of others' meditation? And what do? When we sing praises of others' meditation, do you think our personal problems will be solved? Your personal meditation will only solve your personal problems. Your prayers will soothe you temporarily, but your problems will increase because you have not tackled them. My dear friends, my dear masters and my dear gods of India and the whole world, remember, prayer is not meditation. Meditation is not prayer. They are as distant to each other as the North Pole to the South Pole or the South Pole to the North Pole. When you are in the North Pole, you are not in the South Pole. When you are in the South Pole, you are not in the North Pole. Yeah, some lifetimes in the North Pole and some other lifetimes in the South Pole. Some lifetimes in prayer and latter in the final lifetimes in meditation. If you want to do prayer, you are prolonging your cycle of births and deaths. That much, my dear friends. The benefits of prayer are included in the benefits of meditation. The benefits of meditation are not included in the benefits of prayer. Prayer is like a outpost. Meditation is like the central headquarters. Go for the central headquarters, not for the outpost. That is wisdom. Given two choices, the same lifetime can be spent at the outpost, or the same lifetime can be spent at the central headquarters. What do? The central headquarters includes all the outposts, but no outpost includes the central headquarters. My dear friends, my dear masters and my dear gods of India and the whole world, remember this. Unless you sort this out, the difference between prayer and meditation, you can't go really into meditation. Unless you see the difference of prayer, define it, hold it, and define meditation, see it and hold it in two different hands. See what is prayer and what is meditation. You can't go for meditation. My dear friends, the meaning of the whole thing is meditation is not prayer. Prayer is not meditation. To go into meditation, you have to drop prayer, lock, stock and barrel. To come into India, you have to drop the whole land of America or any other country totally and bring both your feet into India. You can't have one foot in Europe or Arab or Africa or Australia and have one other foot in India. So, let us go ahead towards the vastness of the science of meditation. It is not vast, it is very simple. It is very simple, straightforward. Be with the breath. Be with the breath. Be with the breath. No mantras whatsoever. No mantras whatsoever. No sounds whatsoever. Keep the mouth shut. Keep the mouth shut. Keep the eyes shut. Keep the eyes shut.